So I really tried hard to figure out a way to trip you up again on the introduction.
No.
So maybe we'll just skip it because I think people understand the title of the podcast that they clicked on.
This is about usually murderers, true crime. I'm Katie, which is the woman. That's Cody, which is the man. You can probably remember that and figure it out.
That seems like a sufficient intro.
I bet people hate me.
I don't know.
There's some people that are like, I'm going to give this a chance. And then like, she's a bitch. I'm done.
I don't think anyone's really going to think that.
Okay.
Or they might.
RC and I were talking about how I can be, bit of the C word sometimes. And it seems impolite to say it out loud right now. I said it about myself first, and he's like, oh, yeah, I know. I was like, all right, we're done here.
I'm not going to say anything.
That's smart.
So we're talking about Richard Speck. Yeah?
Sure.
Do you want to do the childhood stuff? Do you want me to?
That's a lot. I think we're going to have to, maybe not just specific childhood. I guess mine's early life.
Okay.
That starts with childhood and then literally goes up until like murder.
It just goes up until murder. I'll just start it off then.
Okay.
You started the last couple, so I'm going to take this one.
Well, it's probably because I normally just like to talk and take control.
So somehow, I just realized this. I don't have the date that he was born.
I do.
I just have born in Kirkwood, Illinois.
What a fucking slacker you are.
I don't know how that happened.
He was born December 6th, 1941.
Oh, well, that's nice to know. I got all these other dates. There's so many dates in this.
I mean, sometimes I might have the actual date if I'm like, that seems important. Actual date. Or I'm like, in this month of this year. That's you.
Yeah.
You can look it up.
I think that's sufficient.
Okay.
But again, like our last guy, 7th out of 8 children. Mm-hmm. That's pretty rough. To Benjamin Franklin Speck and Mary Margaret Carbaugh Speck. Just 2 names that are interesting. One, because Benjamin Franklin.
I didn't even put any of that together. I don't have parents' names in here ever because I'm like, don't care about that.
See, I like learning about where these people come from.
Why
are they so well adjusted?
Degree. I don't know. We differ in this aspect, which is kind of fun to see. I don't know.
I don't know.
And you're just like, his dad is Benjamin Franklin.
Like, yeah, I thought that was interesting.
I paid no attention to that.
I mean, you have to know what you're doing as the parents of this guy. Name him Benjamin Franklin. Can't be a family name. Too much of a coincidence. They just had really high hopes for this fella. But apparently he was a nice guy.
I bet it's a super common name. Anyways.
Whatever. So shortly after he was born, they moved to, I'm going to say Monmouth, or is it Monmouth? I don't know.
I don't ever know, but it looks like it's Monmouth.
It looks like it's pronounced Monmouth, so that's what we're going to go with.
I'm usually wrong about this stuff, but...
So I have some information about his parents. So Ben Speck worked as a packer at Western Stoneware in Monmouth after they moved. Mm-hmm. Before they moved, he was a farmer and a logger. I don't really have any profession stuff on his mother, so maybe she didn't work. I don't know.
I only have a little bit of stuff about afterwards, like after his dad dies.
Okay.
I guess I do have a little bit about that, but only because it seemed important to his storyline.
Yeah. I mean, spoiler alert that he does die. Mm-hmm. His father dies in 1947 of a heart attack at age 53. Richard was only 6 at the time, but I guess they were pretty close. And then his mom fell in love with a douchebag. It's a traveling insurance salesman from Texas named Carl August Rudolph Lindbergh.
What a freaking name.
I know. These people had great names. He was pretty much the polar opposite.
That's crazy.
Richard's real father. They'd met in Chicago whenever his mother was on like a train trip. Apparently he was there selling insurance.
Makes sense.
And then in 1950, May 10th to be exact, I have that date, Mary got married. I don't know why that tripped me up so bad. Mary got married to Carl in Palo Pinto, Texas. And then shortly after then, they relocated to Santo, Texas, except for Speck. He actually stayed behind to finish the second grade. He lived with his older sister. There was a big age difference between his siblings.
I mean, when you got 8 of them.
Yeah, I mean, he
You'd
was
hope they're
in
not all a
second
year or
grade
two
and
apart.
his sister was married. I think he had another sister that was older as well.
Yeah.
But so this takes us up into Santo, Texas. If you wanted to take us.
Wait, did you mention, because I might have already forgot to pay attention fully in regards to his now stepfather. I mean, I know you said he's a douchebag. He sucks.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, he had a 25-year-long criminal record.
I think I remember reading that, but for some reason it's missing in my notes.
I just thought that was a fun fact.
Well,
It comes up probably later.
yeah. I mean, I think it shows through his parenting style later on.
Right. Okay, so they moved to Dallas. No, not yet. They moved to Santo. Then they moved to East Dallas.
Whoa.
Yeah. Let me not get ahead of myself.
A lot of moving
Read my
around.
notes in order. Not me, not always. So I just thought it was a fun fact that it said they lived in a total of 10 different addresses over 12 years.
That's rough.
I've moved one time in my memory.
Yeah.
And that was too much for me.
Maybe they didn't have much, so it wasn't a huge deal. I don't know. But moving...
I mean, I should also clarify. I mean, my dad and brother do almost all of the work while I stood back and was like, put that there. No, reposition that. Just put my shoes on the floor, Dad.
That's so rough.
I was like, man, this has been a day. Then I
Need
went
a
and
glass
helped my
of wine.
roommates get their stuff. I'm like, where are the light items to carry while they're trying to carry this big dresser down some steps and put it in their trucks? I'm like, yeah, I got that one drawer that fell out. Don't worry.
Yeah.
We're glad you're here to help. I'm like,
Yeah.
no problem. So
Every crew needs a supervisor.
that's what I'm saying. I'm not bossy. I am the boss. They move around a lot. I have information that I don't know if we mentioned this too, but Speck really didn't like his stepfather.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I don't know. Maybe they're kind of similar people.
I mean, he seemed to be kind of a butthole. Maybe the butthole just rubbed off on him.
It happens. So Carl, the stepfather, he was just drunk a lot. He was psychologically abusive. That's all I have at the moment because I'm going to go in order of my notes. Speck, he was not a good student. I thought it was fun that it said he needed glasses, but he wouldn't wear them. So
Glasses aren't cool. He didn't want to be made fun of.
I guess. I mean, didn't everyone have glasses back then?
I don't know.
Those big bulky ones, grandpa style.
Maybe. I didn't live back then.
Whatever. Me neither. He also did not want to speak in class because he was afraid of his peers just, I guess, making fun of him. No, staring at him. I don't know. All of the above.
Well,
I'm guessing he had social anxiety to some degree.
Yeah. I mean, who wants people staring at them?
Oh. And that resulted in him getting held back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He ends up dropping out of school. No surprise. After freshman year. Failed every single class. What a winner. So
It's not his fault. Okay.
Whose
no
fault is it?
glasses, and he's got Carl. Come on.
Well, what's Mary doing
I
all
don't
this?
know. She just doesn't want to speak up because she doesn't want to get hit or something.
Probably. So that's in 1957. Backtracking a little bit.
What about reading your notes in order?
No, this is in order. This is how I take notes.
Okay.
In 1955 is when he was first arrested. He was 13 years old and he was trespassing. I don't have anything else on that because I guess I didn't care.
Do you have that Richard would start drinking by the age of 12?
Yeah, you know what? I'm actually not reading my notes in order. I'm going to be honest.
Uh-huh.
I was like, hold on, this seems more interesting. I want to jump ahead. And then I was like, no, I'll swing back to that. But then you brought it up.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I would have stopped reading my notes in order.
That's
I'm
fine. Hey, you do this however you want to do it.
Yeah,
it's
whatever.
working out great for you.
So yeah.
To finish, no.
Okay.
I got to finish my statement.
I was going to keep going and move on. So good call.
I don't really have too much, but he started drinking by age 12, but he was getting drunk almost daily by age 15.
That's probably why he was failing all of his classes.
It definitely didn't help.
What a guy. I think I was sick after a Coca-Cola when I was 15.
Who are you?
Just
You didn't
burping a lot.
pound like 6 cans of Pepsi a day when you were growing up?
No.
Just
First of all, Coca-Cola is
1,000
better.
grams of sugar.
Coca-Cola is better.
I mean,
It is better.
It
is better.
It depends on what you're eating.
You're wrong. Okay.
Okay.
Speaking of soda, though, he worked for like 7-Up, I guess, from 1960.
You guess.
My notes are a little vague here.
You're an authority on this. No?
So he worked for 7-Up from 1960 to 1963. But in 1961, he meets a lady.
A 15-year-old lady?
I was going to point out. So now, he is 20 years old. He meets a nice, young 15-year-old girl, Shirley Annette Malone.
Wow.
Oh, they met at the fair. That's pretty cute. I think that's where everyone met in the 60s.
A young Texas girl at the state fair.
Mm-hmm. So 3 weeks later, she's pregnant.
Sounds like someone else that we know.
No comment. So naturally, they get married. I put the date they got married. I thought that was fun. January 19th, 1962.
What's fun about that?
I don't know. I just thought it was fun.
You're just like, this date made the cut.
Yep. So he was okay. Yeah. At this point, stepdad's gone. I don't know how to not talk in threes these days. It's really coming out a lot. Even when I text other people, you know, when I'm like doing my like 700 messages at a time, be like, this happened. Also this. Also. To anyone now. No one cares about that.
It's infectious.
All right. So married on January 19th, 1962. July 5th, 1962, they have a daughter, Robbie Lynn.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and whenever Shirley gave birth, she didn't know that Speck was serving a 22-day jail sentence for disturbing the peace.
What a guy.
From a drunken... How do I say that word? I can't do words.
A drunken... What? You're acting like we have the same things in front of us.
Do we not?
A fight?
No, that's not the word.
A drunken quarrel?
No. Anyways.
What do you have written
those
down?
words work. Probably exactly what was on Wikipedia. And I'm like, I'm going to mispronounce this.
Oh, boy.
I promise. My state of mind is normal. It's just my near-death experiences.
From a moth flying in your window?
Yeah, and people... Okay. I was driving across Atherton Street.
Yeah.
And there's 2 cars in front of me, and one's trying to get in the left lane, but they're, like, braking.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, what are you doing? And then the car in front of me decides, I'm going to make a quick right turn and not signal my turn. And then I'm, like, slamming on my brakes. And then I realize I'm in the wrong lane. I got to get in the left lane because I got to turn.
So then you had to be the douchebag.
Yeah, so then I just sped up real quick, swerved over.
Yeah,
driven
naturally.
in the cities. I know what you have to do.
Naturally.
And that was traumatizing.
Star Wars pod racing.
Sure. I never played that game.
I don't know what to say to you right now.
Okay. So in 1963, is that where we're at? That's where I'm at now.
That's
1 year
where I'm
later.
at. Yes.
So this is in July. Here's another criminal activity he did. He forged and cashed a different coworker's paycheck for $44. Oh, no. Sorry.
It happens. So, yeah, you were saying that he forged a coworker's signature, cashed his check, robbed a grocery store.
I didn't get there yet.
Well, I'm just taking over because you were flustered.
Could you imagine if I had that coffee before I got here?
You probably should have.
It might have actually mellowed me out.
Maybe.
Okay, so he robs a grocery store.
Yeah,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. So he robs a grocery store, and he made away with the classic staples, cigarettes, beer, and a whopping $3 in cash. Right?
That just sounds pathetic. I know that was worth more money in the 60s. How many cigarettes could you buy with $3?
I don't know. I mean, back then they had like vending machines for cigarettes.
I'm not surprised.
So they couldn't have been very much.
Okay.
I think you could just they were like penny candy back then. You're like, here's a handful of change. Give me like 2 of these and 2 of these. So yeah, he went to the Texas State Penitentiary in Huntsville, Texas, was paroled after 16 months.
He was supposed to get 3 years.
Well, he didn't.
Nope.
I don't think he served any of his full sentences besides his last one, obviously.
No, he got lucky somehow.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I'm sure I would have brought this up later. But when you keep having someone that breaks the law like this, you're like, all right, let's just release him now. Breaks the law again immediately. Let's just release him now. Continues to do so. Don't you think you should stop letting that guy out of jail?
Maybe. But this guy had some great luck whenever it came to, like, the criminal justice system. Like, there was a mess up that actually let him out early. But his real life was a disaster with bad luck. Like, later on, whenever he tries getting a job, which we'll get there, I kind of feel bad for the guy.
I'm not sure I really followed all of that. I tried my best in my notes. But we've seen how I've been doing. They're so organized, too. Like, I tried so hard to organize them this time.
Well, maybe you just need to take a deep breath.
Because sometimes they're not organized.
Calm down.
Okay, so he gets released after 16 months.
Yes.
I just wanted to interrupt you.
Well, you can take over now.
Okay, so a week after he... Now, I assume this is the same timeline. Yeah, because now it's January 1965. I was like, no, that's 2 years later. That doesn't match up, but it does. So a week after he gets released, he goes and he attacks a woman with a 17-inch carving knife in the parking lot of her apartment.
Yeah, but he's a gigantic pussy about it. He just runs away after she screams.
Well, it's probably
so this guy just can't commit.
No.
Until
so
he
then,
does.
Then he's charged with aggravated assault. He gets a 16-month prison sentence. Since they're like, that's a good time for this guy.
Yeah.
Which, 3 years for stealing cigarettes, beer, and $3. They're like, oh, you're going to attack a woman? 60 months. That's all.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's when there was an error, and he gets released after 6 months.
Yeah, so this is one thing.
I didn't write down what the error was, if it said.
So I have a little bit on it, but I didn't quite follow it. So I tried figuring out what it was and writing it down in my own words. But I feel like something about his like parole sentences overlapped or something. Oh. And he was released on the second charge whenever his first parole was up or something like that.
It sounds weird.
I don't know how it all works, but I'm sure they didn't have great systems back then.
It was the 60s.
And there were a lot of clerical errors.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know if that's the full story, but that's what it seemed like to me.
That's okay. I apparently didn't care to put anything in my notes, so.
Oh, my notes are so organized.
So then he starts working as a driver for Patterson Meat Company. Drives a meat truck. Yeah.
Nice.
I should do that.
You would fit right truck? In.
No. Oh, my God. Imagine me driving a huge truck.
Hey, you guys want some steaks?
Can't even handle my little car. So he has 6 accidents with his truck, and then he gets fired for not coming into work.
He really is just a stand-up guy at this point.
Hey, working's hard. It's not for everyone.
It's really not. Do you want me to take over?
I don't care.
Because this part's a little weird. In December of 1965, on his mother's recommendation, he should move in with a divorced 29-year-old woman who bartends at his favorite bar, Guinea's Lounge.
Wait, do you not have her former profession?
Guinea's Lounge? Guinea's Lounge? How do you pronounce it?
I don't know.
Because Guinea just doesn't sound good.
I think it's probably Ginny.
Ginny? Whatever. But apparently she needed someone to babysit her 3 kids.
No, wait, you didn't say what her former job was.
Oh, a professional wrestler.
God, how could you forget that?
I didn't forget it. I just...
No, you forgot it.
I got caught up on the name because I thought I messed up, and I probably did, and now I just feel like a real heel.
That's how I live my life. He's also no longer with Shirley, obviously. They're separated.
Right.
They're not... I don't think they're officially divorced.
They're not.
Okay.
But I was just really hoping that relationship would have worked out.
Shirley?
Yeah.
How many relationships work out 5 years difference. One's a minor. And then 3 weeks into the relationship, you knock her up.
Hey.
What do I know?
Passion over those state fair corn dogs.
Mom. That's not what you get at the state fair.
I wonder if they had funnel cakes back then. I wonder if that's what did her in.
I'm not a huge fan of funnel cakes.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No, okay. You go to the Grange Fair. And you can
I don't.
No, but no one goes this year. You get cheesecake on a stick and you're living life.
What the fuck's wrong with you?
What?
Cheesecake on a stick.
They also would do it at People's Choice.
Do you walk around with the chicken on a stick too?
I would, yes. You know? Get some deep fried Oreos. Have a little bit of a heart attack that day.
Well, yeah. But cheesecake on a stick?
I don't think we can be friends anymore.
I don't.
Have you had cheesecake on a stick? There's just something empowering about having a hunk of cheese.
How do you keep it on there?
Did I just say cheesecake or cheese steak? Because now I don't know which words I'm saying.
I don't know. I thought it was cheesecake.
Okay, yeah.
I hope it was.
It was. I'm like, if I'm saying cheesesteak, though, that is questionable. I understand.
That sounds better than cheesecake on a stick.
Anyways, where are we at?
Okay.
So he's living with...
Oh, he's living with this divorced lady.
Do we have her name? I don't.
I don't have her name either.
Maybe she wanted to keep that private.
Whatever. But we're at an incident at a bar. Do you want to pick it up? Do you even know where we're at?
I think so.
Go for it.
I don't know what the timeline is, though.
This is working out real well.
So at Ginny's Lounge,
yeah,
that's what I'm calling it, he stabs a man with a knife at the bar. He's charged with aggravated assault again. This time, his mom hired a lawyer for him, so they reduced the charge to disturbing the peace. So he had to pay a $10 fine, but he did not pay it, so he went to jail for 3 days.
What a
That's
guy.
what I have.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. This guy.
But that leads us up to now March of 1966.
Mm-hmm.
He buys it's a 12-year-old car. I don't know. I guess that's old for them. I mean, it'd be made in like the 50s. I'm sure it was crap. So he uses that car to rob a grocery store. This time, though, he's really improving. He gets 70 cartons of cigarettes.
Big
and then he's
loot.
like, what am I going to do? I'm going to go sell these in the parking lot of the store that I just robbed. Then he abandons the car. Seemed like he almost had a good plan this time.
Yeah. But
I bet he got a nice chunk of change from it. But it turns out the police can track that back to him.
It turns out. Why didn't he just go to a different parking lot, though?
He's
like, why would he?
Smart.
Yeah.
He's getting smarter.
Finish school. And then you can pull off real crimes.
Maybe. Maybe even further your education. Go for a PhD.
Why would you want to do that?
That's how you fully get away with it.
Okay. Speaking of PhDs, I have a story to tell you later.
Okay. Is it about someone in seafood?
No.
Oh. I was like, maybe he's going back to
someone
school.
else that you hate.
At work?
Probably shouldn't linger on it.
Okay.
But yeah, it's at work.
Okay. I'm interested.
Okay.
Okay.
So.
This was now the 42nd time he was arrested in his life.
I don't know how you do that.
I'm proud.
He's only in his 20s. Right?
Yeah, he's 25 or almost 25. No, he's 24.
Career criminal. It's the only thing that he does right.
Some people are born to succeed and some people are born to get arrested 42 times.
I guess. So this takes us to Chicago.
So he wouldn't go to prison again. He just left.
Well, naturally.
Hey, well, now he's getting smart again.
He's got street smarts sometimes. He turns it on and off.
That's when he feels like it.
I guess.
All right, you can talk about Chicago for now.
Okay.
I'll interrupt you.
So, time-wise, April 19th, 1966, Speck finds himself in Chicago, staying with his sister Martha, her husband, and their 2 teenage daughters, which sounds like a hoot and a half with this guy's track record of picking up 15-year-old girls.
These are family members.
Please. I don't think this guy cares. Martha was a registered nurse in pediatrics, and her husband worked overnights as a railroad switchman. Sounds like a great way to pass the time. So, I don't know why, but he tells his sister, whenever he gets there, that he had to leave because he refused to sell narcotics for a quote-unquote a crime syndicate.
Yeah.
I don't know why you would, like, have such an egregious lie. You know, that doesn't sound
Just say,
believable.
I wanted a change of scenery. I need
Exactly.
a new start.
Keep it casual and don't bring attention to yourself.
The more complex your lies get, the more likely you are to get caught up in the lies.
But I'm pretty sure Martha's husband, Gene, just saw right through his bullcrap. He served in the U.S. Navy. Mm-hmm. And he's like, you know what I think might be good for you? The U.S. Merchant Marine.
What else does that even mean?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, that makes me feel better.
Jack about the service.
I didn't even try
anything.
and learn.
No, I didn't either. But on April 25th, they took a trip down to the Coast Guard office to get Richard signed up to be an apprentice seaman. And this was a short-lived career for him. But he did get work immediately on a 33-member crew of Inland Steel's Clarence B. Randall, which was an ore lake freighter on April 30th. I don't know what any of that stuff is, but it sounds fancy. He ended up just working there shortly. He ended up coming down with appendicitis, was evacuated via helicopter to St. Joseph's Hospital, where he had an emergency appendectomy. While he was recovering, he was with his sister and her family, and he would end up rejoining the crew on that ship on May 20th. But
that's my half birthday.
What's that?
That's my half birthday.
Jesus, who are you? I can't believe that just happened.
I was really zoning out for
that?
most of that too. I just know it.
Oh my
because
God.
I'm always like, it's my birthday today on that day.
Whatever. So again, Richard finds himself drunk and fighting, gets kicked off of his ship because he was fighting with one of his officers, kicked off that ship June 15th. So for the next week, he stays in a flop house on the east side of Chicago.
A flop house?
A flop house, which is...
I did not write that down. What's a flop house?
A flop house is like a janky place to stay. Basically think like really cheap housing, like a boarding house kind of thing.
That's fine.
So then he actually leaves for Michigan by train, staying at the Douglas House, visiting a 20-year-old nurse, actually nurse's aide, I'm sorry, named, now I'm going to butcher this, Judy Lakanimi? I don't know.
I have no comment because I am so lost in my notes, or I just don't have this information.
Okay. But
so
this is
I don't
actually,
think I have it.
So this is a nurse that he befriended at St. Joseph's whenever he was getting his appendectomy.
Okay.
Somehow he just befriends this nurse, goes out and sees her, and she's like, you know, you're having a hard time. Here's $80, which I'm pretty sure was a decent chunk of change. And he was like, thanks. I could really use this while I'm looking for a job. And then he just leaves. So I'm not really quite sure like how all that went down or how he charms people. But seems to be a trend. Do you want to pick up or do you want me to keep going?
I have no idea where we're at.
Okay, I'll just keep going. So June 30th, once again.
Are we still in 1966?
Just calm down. I'm just telling the story here.
I'm just going to listen then, not zone out. I probably just was like, that seems boring. Skip that part.
The whole thing is like, you know, he just got the trust of this one nurse so much. She just gave him money. And then he just leaves and goes back to his sister's place.
Good for him.
So again, Gene is like, no, guy, you have to get a job. So he drives him back to the Union Hall. He files more paperwork. Now, the one thing to note about this is this hiring hall is only 1 block east of some townhomes. And one of these townhomes houses a bunch of nurses, right?
Female student nurses.
Which is important to this story.
Because he kills them.
No. Yes. So the address for that place is 2319 East 100th Street. So that address is important. Because
never wrote it down.
Everything happens so close to this. So it's...
You're not wrong.
Crazy. But it's only 150 feet from this hiring hall that he keeps going back to and keeps getting rejected from jobs and stuff.
So really, this is all Gene's fault.
Maybe. I mean, he was pushing him into getting a job. He's like, be a man and get a job. Maybe he could have taken a different path, and those 8 nurses would still have their lives. Probably not now, because this was a while ago. How many people I've given that advice
to? Be a man and get a job. At least 2 people in my life.
Okay, it's your turn now after that.
Okay. So it's July 1966. Again, his brother-in-law takes him to the hiring hall. Where are we at? So he also, what I have, on July 11th. I don't know. It was kind of vague. Either he decided he's overstayed his welcome with his sister, or they're like, no, you've been here too long. Get out. That's kind of what I assume it is.
It's probably them.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, this guy's a loser.
They're sick of him. He keeps showing up. He can't hold a job. So he goes to the hiring hall. He does get assigned, like, whatever random job to do. I don't know. Maybe it said and I didn't care. So he drives to the job. And when he gets there, his spot was already filled. So then, goes back to the hiring hall.
Naturally.
They were closed. This man, he's pissed off.
It's not good. This is kind of where I feel bad for him.
That was a series of unfortunate events, Yeah, what are you going to do? So, whoa. Sorry. So then he finds, I guess just an unfinished house that was maybe, I don't know, was it being built or something? That's what
I just have an unfinished house as well, so.
But he just sleeps in there, Where else are you going to stay? You can't stay at your sister's.
Yeah, what can you do?
There's no work. Can't afford to pay for another hotel room. All right. So now, let's see. We're on July 13th. He decides to spend his whole day drinking at the tavern.
Why not?
So then there's a woman, Ella Mae Hooper. Takes her at knife point. She is 53 years old. Which I don't know. He didn't care how old these women were. He didn't have a type. So she had also just been drinking at the tavern. Mm-hmm. Okay, so now he has a room apparently at the Shipyard Inn.
Yes.
So he was like...
Yeah, he checks in at the Shipyard Inn and he's drinking at the tavern there.
Yeah. So he takes her up to... let me say what I imagine. He's charming this older woman at the bar. They've been drinking. He's like, come up to my room. She goes. He rapes her. She has a pistol. He takes that bad boy. And I don't know at what point he has her at knife point, but he had her at knife point. Maybe he never charmed her. Maybe he had her at knife point and just dragged her up to his room.
Just dragged her by her shirt.
Who freaking knows?
But how does no one notice that? You would think if they're in a tavern that's in an inn, there would be other people there.
Well, that's why maybe he charmed her.
Maybe it looked...
it looked like an older woman getting a 25-year-old man.
Maybe. I don't know.
So then he goes back to the tavern to keep drinking after he rapes and steals a gun from a 53-year-old woman. So then I have, at some point after 10 p.m., he just starts walking towards the nurse townhouse. Mm-hmm. And I just made a note that he's dressed all black, has the pistol, and has a switchblade knife. Wow. Probably the knife he used to hold Ella Mae Hooper at knife point.
The only thing I didn't notice, before we get into the good bits, how did he know about this townhouse? That's one thing I never found out about. Because
I don't know.
The way it makes it seems like he just...
went straight there?
He walks there deliberately.
And I mean, if he's been drinking all day, he's drunk. Yeah. He does claim he's on drugs as well.
Yep.
Later on.
Yep.
He must have been aware previously. Maybe he had been stalking them. I don't know.
conspiracy theory coming out on me. Maybe it's this other nurse that he befriended.
Maybe.
And she's like, you know what? Those nurses are a bunch of bitches that they bring up down there. Maybe it's like a rival hospital. Maybe there's like nurse gangs.
Maybe he thought he was doing her
and
a
this
favor.
was all just a hit for her. It's a little far-fetched.
Maybe he was in love with her. It's far-fetched, but...
I'm going to go with it, though.
Okay, so now it's around 11 p.m. He breaks into the townhouse, which is just where, again, a bunch of student nurses are living. I don't know. I mean, he clearly had 8 victims. There was a 9th there who escaped.
Yeah.
So I don't know if more than that many people lived there, if that 8 all lived there, if they were having friends over. Don't know. Probably doesn't matter. I have all of their names that I will butcher. It seemed polite to name them all.
Probably. I'm going to let you take that.
Gloria Davy, who I believe she was the last one he killed. So after he killed everyone, he raped her and then killed her.
Yes.
Oh boy. Patricia Matusek? I don't know. Sorry.
I would say Matusek.
Nina Jo Schmale.
Uh-huh.
Pam, I can't say any words right now. I'm getting so worked up over these names.
Pamela Wilkening.
Suzanne Ferris.
Uh-huh.
Marianne Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
Goodness. Merlita Gargula? No. I don't know.
There's definitely an O there.
Did I say no?
You said
Whatever. Valentina Passion? We'll just go with Passion.
I heard
it's not...
whenever it's with one S, I think it's Passion.
Well...
I don't know. Don't listen to me. Maybe you
it
should have...
sounds better.
Do we need to press pause and get you caffeine?
No.
Are you sure?
No.
Okay.
So those were the 8 victims. I think that was 8.
Yes. So just a note on what you said before. It seems like he knew there were 8 people that lived here and that one got away and she seemed to have been staying over. The speculation...
Corazon, I can't even say your last name.
I don't know how to pronounce that. It is a weird one.
No.
Amareo? I don't know.
I don't know either.
Corazon
My
Amareo.
name is super easy to say. So, like...
Maybe. But this Corazon lady, she gets away because she hides under a bed.
Yeah.
And it was speculated that he either lost count of the women or he didn't know that she was there because maybe she didn't live there and she was spending the night.
Also, I mean, he does say he was clearly drunk. He was on drugs. I don't think it ever specified what kind of drugs he was on. Maybe he was just high. Maybe he was doing harder stuff. I don't know.
Right.
And he said he probably only originally planned to commit burglary. Whether or not that's the truth, who knows? He's probably a liar.
Yeah. Did you see that? I mean, he had the pistol on him, but he never used it.
No, he stabbed and strangled them all.
Stabbed
to death.
and strangled. And it was one by one, too.
Hours, yeah. Would have them all like kept in a room and would take them out one by one, ending with Gloria. To which, for whatever reason, raped her before he killed her. And Corazon, you know, if that's how you say it, hiding under a bed until like 6 a.m. Again, he showed up at like 11.
Yeah. I mean, how do you not lose your shit? Like she's
Hopefully
just laying
she's
under a
hiding
bed.
somewhere where she's not watching, but I'm sure she's hearing everyone dying.
I don't know. I just, in my head, I have this movie and she's just under a bed in the room where they're all being held and he's leading them out one by one and she hears them dying and then she's hearing the last one being raped and then strangled. Like that's not a way to go out. Being strangled after you're raped.
I'm sure she was in therapy for a long time.
Maybe.
I'm sure
Or
she'll never trust a man again.
She's just like, ha, I got away. No, nothing?
I mean, I don't even know. Nothing. So his fingerprints are found at the scene.
Okay. You're right. Okay, where are we at?
Okay, so him getting, I guess, no, I don't even know. This is what I have. And it might not sound right. 2 days after the murders, he was identified by Claude Lunsford, whatever.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Who was just someone else that was at the tavern drinking. So he probably saw him interacting with that Ella. Was that Ella May? Yeah, from the tavern that night.
Yeah.
So maybe he saw something suspicious. But this is what I don't know what happened. Like within that 2 days, did they find his fingerprints? Or like we're looking for this guy and put his picture.
Yeah,
on newspapers
well,
or something.
That's how this Claude guy wanted to turn him in because they were drinking together, and after they had found his fingerprints at the scene, they ran it through the system. Obviously, someone arrested that many times.
He's in the system.
He's in there, so they put out a warrant for him.
Okay.
And this Claude guy later on, after they're done drinking, when he's in his room, he sees in the news a picture of this guy, and he's like, wow, okay.
It's just hanging out with my buddy.
So he calls the police at 9:30 p.m. on July 16th. And the police never responded, but the records are there.
Right.
So I don't know why, but Speck tried to attempt suicide. I don't think that was proper, the way I said that. Tried to attempt. He attempted suicide.
You're right.
And I don't know how he was found, but the desk clerk phoned in the emergency and he was taken to the hospital. Right? At 12:30 a.m. on July 17th. And it was actually a hospital resident that noticed a tattoo that Speck had that read "Born to Raise Hell." What a badass.
It is a good thing to point out.
I guess.
You can be identified if you have tattoos.
Well, right. That was actually in the newspaper story about this guy. Like, hey, we think this guy killed 8 people. Here's information. And this guy, he turned him in. He's like, come pick him up. He's in a bed. I'll lay down on him. Make sure he can't get away. Now, I'm going to be honest. Whenever we come to like trial stuff, that's whenever it kind of loses me.
Okay, well, I thought the pre-trial stuff was kind of interesting just because he was attending like the psychiatrist sessions in the jail.
Yeah.
So I have a bit about that.
Bag.
Hey, he was trying to make some money.
Yeah, I mean, he was a real.
Would you not do the same?
You're gonna profit off this guy's life being garbage.
It doesn't matter. He's a prisoner. They're, what rights do they have? Especially in the 60s.
Yeah. Yeah. You're right.
The answer is none. So.
That's okay.
I'm pretty sure. Although this guy termed his way out of jail all the time.
Yeah,
okay.
Right?
So twice a week, he was seeing a psychiatrist at the jail. I don't even think I put his name in because it seemed like too much of a mouthful of a word. Sorry.
The doctor's name?
Yeah.
Oh, Dr. Marvin Zaporian.
Zaporian?
Mm-hmm.
Never would have said it like that. Zaporian. I'm done now. Okay. So he's meeting with him twice a week.
Mm-hmm.
His discharge summary said that he had depression, anxiety, guilt, and shame, but he had a deep love for his family.
Yeah, whatever.
He had an obsessive-compulsive personality and a Madonna prostitute attitude towards women. So I had to look that up. I wasn't familiar with that term. I'm sure it's not really used in today's world. And it was inability to maintain sexual arousal within a committed, loving relationship. It was something Freud came up with.
Yeah, because there's no fun in that. You gotta murder 7 women before you can get it up. Too much?
No comment.
Okay. Continue.
Wait, say the doctor's name again?
Zaporian?
Zaporian diagnosed him with organic brain syndrome as a result of cerebral injuries he had earlier in life. And I like that. I'm sure I've heard about it. I don't know, but it's just saying it's any syndrome or disorder where mental functioning. Wait, this doesn't make sense.
Our guy had a soft head.
Sure. It's caused by something physical or physiological. It's not just like, I don't know.
So
maybe I'm messing this up.
Maybe something like what they would call CTE now. being hit in the head a lot.
You know, I should really know better.
I went to school
For psychology.
for a lot of this.
I was in a research
and
lab
I
about
just don't
brains.
know fucking anything anymore.
And I did all the work, and then I quit my research lab and pissed them all off. And here I am now, not remembering anything.
Can't even keep my notes straight for a podcast.
I got 4.0 most of college. Brag.
What's that doing for you now?
Nothing. Overall, though, he was competent enough to stand trial with all his problems.
Saved.
Yep.
Okay.
So the psychiatrist did not testify for either side because then they found out he was just writing a book about Speck for financial gain.
Yeah, everyone
And
started giving him like the mean mug.
I
at
don't
that
know.
point.
If I was him and I had this patient, I'm like, holy shit, I better start writing this down.
I think that's frowned upon. Being
I'm
a
sure
doctor.
it's unethical.
A little bit. I mean, even back in the wild days of the 60s and the 70s.
Yeah, that's what, you know. You can do different studies like, I don't even remember never mind, I don't remember.
What are you going on about?
I was thinking of an unethical study, but and to me in my head, it probably happened in the 60s.
Listen, now you're just talking gibberish. I'm going to continue.
I wasn't done yet.
Okay.
So
Well,
the psychiatrist gets fired after the trial, naturally, because they don't like that he's writing a book about Speck.
Right.
But he's like, I had consent. And Speck told him to just,
Oh, yeah.
told him, yeah, you can write what I'm really like. I don't care.
Yeah, listen to that guy.
So the biography gets published in 1967.
And then he Scrooge McDucked his way to the bank.
Mm-hmm.
Did you look it up to see if you can still buy it? Is it like...
No, but I will do that
thing
right
still?
now.
Because I kind of want to know.
But first, I'm looking up something else. The thing that I was going to reference happened in 71. I wasn't too far off.
Okay.
All right.
Whatever. So now we're on to, after all this, his confession. Right?
I'm paying attention.
They don't need a confession because apparently he confessed to a doctor at Cook County Hospital. I don't know why. I don't have anything else besides he had confessed to a doctor, maybe under drugs. Maybe he was like, I did this bad thing.
I found the book.
You found the book? Mm-hmm. Are you going to buy it?
I might. It looks pretty crappy. I don't know if it's new. It's hardcover for $25 on Amazon Prime. Born to Resell, The Untold Story of Richard Speck, The Man, the Crime, the Trial. 2 authors, the doctor and some other guy.
The doctor and some other guy. Nice names.
Anyways, keep going.
You're just not into names right now, are you?
No.
Okay. So originally he claimed that he had no recollection of the murders. He didn't testify because he was sedated, which who cares? But the Supreme Court justice was like, I don't care. We have an eyewitness. So what you say really doesn't matter.
Right.
And I'm not up on my law stuff, so I don't know if that's kosher still.
I don't know either.
But whatever. Later on, though, in 1978, Speck would confess when he was speaking to Bob Greene, who was a Chicago Tribune columnist. He basically spilled his guts to this guy. Not sure why.
He was feeling some attention.
I guess. And in 1988, the inmates at Stateville Correctional Center made a film. I think made a film is a little misleading. There was a lot of footage leaked.
Yeah, I
from
was
this place?
confused when that film
Yeah,
happened, just because I was reading when it was like in 1996.
Okay.
People saw the film, I think, if that's what you're talking about, but he was like already dead.
Yeah, so this was,
And
I
I
think
figured it was-
1988 was when the footage was taken, and then it was leaked out. So there's a lot of stuff, but in all of this weird shenanigans that happened in the correctional facility, Speck is recounting the murders in detail to people around him. And he said that he was high and drunk, but he would have easily done it if he was sober. So
Right.
like the drugs were not definitely were not to blame for it.
I have a little bit about the trial that
Sure.
maybe you said,
Go
but
for
I don't know. I mean, we said that there was the eyewitness who she identified him, Lieutenant Emil Geis. I don't know. He was able to testify that the fingerprints were a match,
Mm-hmm.
and the jury only took 49 minutes to find him guilty.
I'm surprised it took
And
them
they
that long.
recommended the death penalty.
Naturally. But unfortunately.
He didn't get it, though.
Yeah. That's a shame.
I don't forget why he didn't get it.
Because June 29th, 1972, the U.S. Supreme Court declared that it
right.
was unconstitutional. So they had to resentence him.
But that wasn't... I don't know how court works. That's just... Is that state by state?
And so I think there was a thing... I don't know. But I know that it's a state by state thing now. So I think
Okay.
at one point they said it was unconstitutional. And then later
take
on
that
they
back?
said,
Now we should kill people?
let's let the states up to it.
Okay.
You know? But whatevs. Do you want to say how many years he was sentenced to?
Let me find it. I have other information before that.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
I have about the XYY syndrome. And then I go into that.
Okay, go for it. Let's get your
So,
degree talk
let me
going on
mess
here.
up being a psych major again.
Okay.
So people speculated that he had XYY syndrome because of his appearance. Typically, no.
That's rude.
Well, the stereotype person with it is a male, 5'7" to 6'2", with severe facial acne, which I guess he fit that criteria.
That's a lot of dudes.
For sure. But that was like their only... Well, okay, no. The theory is that men are more prone to aggressive and violent behavior. And they're like, yep, he fits the match. Now, that theory is not true. That's been debunked.
Yeah. They literally are like, this height range for all, like, most of the males in the United States, all of these guys.
The average
Do they
height
have
male,
acne and are they
You
aggressive?
have lots of acne? Oh, you like to go to jail? You have XYY syndrome. So, I don't know who the people are that are testing him for this. Did not write it down. Didn't care. But he got tested twice because people were like, he for sure has XYY syndrome. What difference does it make, though? Like, you're still going to prison.
Right.
I don't know.
Who cares?
Every time he gets tested, nope. Does not have XYY syndrome. But to this day, and I think this is why it got confusing, he was in my other book, he's still labeled in textbooks, like psychology textbooks, as having XYY syndrome, which he did
Interesting.
not. And now, I don't have all of my textbooks, but I did keep some. I might look and see if I can try and find it. Because I'm curious. I don't know.
But what exactly is XYY syndrome?
You would
Is
think I would have put that in my notes. Hold on, Google.
You were like, people that normally have it are average height males.
It's a rare chromosomal disorder that affects males. It's just the presence of an extra Y chromosome.
Interesting. Just wonder.
Usually individuals are very tall, which I don't call like 5'7" to 6'2" very tall. I mean, over 6 foot, that's tall.
Well, people are getting bigger as time goes on.
Fair.
So I think being like over 6 foot back then, you were probably
Maybe.
a giant. As right now, being like 6'2" is like normal.
Google is also just quickly saying that some of the other symptoms might be learning disabilities, speech delay, low muscle tone, and just being taller than expected. Maybe he did seem like a good stereotype for that.
Maybe.
He never finished school. We don't know. It's because he was drunk, not like he could have been smart.
Just stereotyping this guy.
Yeah.
Do you have anything on his... Oh, wait. You didn't say how long he was in prison for still.
400 to 1,200 years in prison.
It's a cakewalk.
That is 8 consecutive sentences of 50 to 150 years because he killed 8 people.
Yeah. And then he was denied parole
7 times.
Yeah. he walked in. It's like that Simpsons gif where the grandpa walks into the bar and like puts his hat up on the coat rack and he's whistling, and as soon as he gets in, hangs his hat up, he just turns around, picks up his hat and walks right back out the door.
I don't know what that is, but I can picture it.
Okay. So
Are we in prison now?
we're in prison. We're the Birdman
Birdman.
thing. Yeah. So as I was reading this, I remembered the scene from Mindhunter because I laughed.
I don't remember. Is there a scene in Mindhunter with him?
Yes.
Why don't I remember
I think
that?
it's in the first season. So they gave him a name called the Birdman because he kept a pair of sparrows that flew into his cell.
Did you watch all of Mindhunter?
Just the first season. I watched
season 2.
I watched it whenever it came out, and
I think we've had this
around to it.
conversation before.
Well,
and I'm
okay,
like, wait,
I
you're
only
talking
watched
like
one
you know about
season,
Mindhunter.
and I actually remember stuff from it, unlike you.
But
So
watch
who's
season
winning?
2. I remember season 2.
Okay, but
It's really good.
here's what I wanted to say. All right?
About Birdman?
Yes. So one of these sparrows was injured. He nursed it back to health. All right? He tied a little string around its leg, and he would have it sit on his shoulder because
cute.
that's freaking adorable. All right? So there was a guard that was all like, hey, you can't have that. So he walks over to a fan that was in the room, and this being prison, you can only imagine it being a large industrial metal
Right.
fan.
That's what I picture.
He takes the bird and throws it into the fan. And the guard was like, bro, I thought you liked that bird. And he was like, I did. But if I can't have it, no one can.
God
Drop
forbid
the
the bird
mic.
go live his own life in the wild.
They had a bond, okay? Jeez. But yes, I don't know if they called him Birdman after that. It may have been a little touchy because obviously he had
I
a
wouldn't
temper.
call that guy Birdman ever again.
But overall, he was a loner that enjoyed music, and he kept a cute little stamp collection.
That is so dumb.
His warden liked to insult him, saying that he was just a big nothing doing time.
He's not wrong.
I don't know. He was often caught doing drugs or in the possession of moonshine. But he was like, how am I going to get in trouble? I'm in here for 1,200 years.
He had a good point.
Yeah. So apparently he stated while he was in prison that at the time of the killings, he had, quote, no feelings. So
I understand.
he was
him.
just like, you know, he was there. He knew what he was doing, but didn't feel anything. There was blood all over the place. Can't remember. It felt like nothing. I'm sorry as hell for those girls, their families, and for me. If I had to do it all over again, it would just be a simple house burglary. So he started having some remorse after the fact. It's weird, though, that he said...
It was after this, though, that he then recounted the murders in detail.
Yeah.
He's probably back and forth.
I don't know. It's weird, though. It would suck to be able to remember something like that and feel bad about it. It probably would have just been better for him just to not know what he did or to not feel bad about it.
He must not be a full-fledged psychopath.
I guess not. Oh, here's information that I have about more of those tapes from that correctional center. Do you have any of that?
I do.
Did you want to do it?
It's kind of like,
Whatever. Okay. I mean, I just thought it was interesting that he was walking around blowing dudes doing cocaine
in panties.
in silk panties, and apparently he was smuggling hormone treatments in.
Yeah,
and
okay.
he got some bobs going on.
Yeah.
He's ahead of his time, you know, living his best life in prison. I don't know. The dude is a roller coaster.
I don't know either.
Maybe he figured it out at the end, but he's having more fun than I am.
And then on December 5th, 1991, he dies of a heart attack. The day before he turned 50.
Don't know how to recover from
funny.
that.
It just seemed like a funny flow. Talking about him having fun. I'm like, he's dead.
And now he's dead. But he died the same way his dad did.
Runs in the family.
Heart attack. Who would have known? All that coke.
Gets to you. Catches up.
I find it really interesting that I have the same line about him having a heart attack twice in my notes. So I didn't forget to say it.
Well, I took it from you, so. So after he dies, his sister is worried if he has like a grave that people will, I don't know, damage it, vandalize it, whatever. Like maybe, I don't know. Do people do that? Maybe the family.
I think so, yeah.
Okay. So he does not have that. She had him cremated and just scattered his ashes in a secret location.
Why would you scatter your ashes in a secret location? If you scatter your ashes in a well-known location, what are people going to do to it? 10 minutes later, the ashes are gone. They're just going to blow away.
I don't know.
God. I don't understand that at all.
No, I'm just thinking about what I would do with my own ashes.
I don't know. Probably be edgy.
Planted into a tree.
Yeah.
You're like the hippies.
You know what they should start doing? Have you ever heard about that thing where there's this farm somewhere? It's out in like the Midwest somewhere. But what they do is they take your body and they roll you up in like this weird cloth and they just put you straight into the ground. No coffin or anything. And
why spend the money on a coffin?
Yeah. And the cloth is like, it has all these like mushroom seeds and stuff. So basically, like, there's like a mushroom farm that like gets
where this is going.
Like it grows up through the ground and it uses your body as fuel.
Like mushrooms that you then sell to the grocery store that you buy and eat?
No, I don't think so.
That makes me feel better than I don't even really eat mushrooms, but
I don't know.
I was like,
they're okay, but I don't go out of my way to eat them.
Yeah.
But I don't have anything else. Do you?
No, I just ended with his death. It seemed fitting.
I feel like this episode was a bit of a roller coaster and we were all over the place.
I take full responsibility.
I kind of blame you. I came in and I felt good and structured.
I felt structured too.
And I feel like you really brought both of us off the rails.
All I want to say is, can you be surprised after all 2 weeks? Like, I hope I get this done. Who are we even researching? I know you already told me.
It really did.
And then I was like, I'm done last night.
It really did worry me whenever, like...
It is very organized.
Just a couple of days ago, you were like, who are we doing again?
I didn't want to scroll back through my text messages. I was like, he'll just tell me again.
Wow. I mean, I admire the honesty.
I am who I am.
All right.
A slacker.
Do you have anything else to add? Wait, what?
I just closed down on my notes and it's like, do you want to save? And I must have did something to it in the process. I'm like, yeah, I better save that. I probably did something important.
Okay.
I don't know.
I don't know. Do you have anything else, though?
Nope.
Okay. Well, if you made it this far, somehow, through this mess, just follow us wherever you're listening. Give us a rating. Be honest. You can tell us we suck. It's fine.
I'm not going to read that. And I'm going to continue to suck.
So
I might be more organized next time.
You're not going to read them, but I am. So whenever I have crippling
You're only
depression...
going to tell me the happy thoughts.
Yeah. I'm just going to be like, life's terrible. Everyone hates us. Why are we doing this? And you're going to be like, why? We're having a hoot.
If you tell me that, I'm going to quit.
Okay, so I'm just going to have to hide everything from you?
Yep.
That's great. Also, if you want to say hi or tell us that we suck to our face,
no,
you can.
Let's just tell them where we live.
You can.
Where we work.
No.
You said to our face.
I mean, to our internet face. You can do that at Twitter at Chalk Outline Pod. Or send a pod. Or you can send us an email at chalkoutlinepodcast@gmail.com.
Ciao.
Bippity boppity.
We went in different directions.